Good morning. How's everybody doing? I wanted to show you. Hi, Sarah. Tanya. I wanted to show you guys our truth bomb for the day. Hi, Betty. Increase your tolerance for bliss. Morning. Hi, Nina. Increase your tolerance for happiness. And the only way I know how to do that is to feel happy till it gets uncomfortable and then feel happy some more. Thanks for the shares and the hearts and the stuffs. I'm still not awake. More happiness, more happiness. You have to increase your comfort level with discomfort. Increase your tolerance for bliss. It's very uncomfortable when things start to go well. Hi, Amy. It's very uncomfortable when things have been in the shitter and they start to get great. And then they're very uncomfortable. Hi, Carrie, and the intentional art. I don't think I'm catching everybody, but good morning. I woke up at 2, then I woke up at 4, then I woke up at 6, and then I woke up at 8. And I still feel like I'm asleep. I know! Thank you guys. So hearts and shares and hearts and shares. Hearts and shares and hearts and shares. I appreciate it. I love the little pig in the boots and pants commercial. Choo-choo! So we haven't been able to, we're a little behind on our big magic exploration because I didn't have the book with me yesterday. And Intention and Art. You guys follow Intention and Art. She does live painting. It's beautiful. It's very relaxing to watch someone else paint. It's pretty stressful when I try to paint. But watching someone else do it is lovely. A squirrel in your closet, in your son's closet, you need a cat. Some people have bats in the belfry. Some people have squirrels in their closets. Well, there you go. Oh, I think I saw that scope. Were you waiting to go to yoga? You're like, the whole front seat of my car is wet. Oh, that's a bummer, though, because libraries charge more. So let's talk about some big magic from Elizabeth Gilbert. A leaking water bottle is the worst. Thank goodness. Did you have to uninstall and reinstall? I'm curious if that is the go-to fix for everybody, or did it just finally stop working? Oh. Do you have a heart trap, Betty? You can get those traps from the animal control, little ones that you put bait in there and they walk in and the door slams shut and it doesn't kill them. You can put them back outside and seal up the hole where they got in. It has just gotten better. Okay, that's weird. Well, I'm glad you guys... Yeah, you can get them at the animal control or your local humane society shelter. They'll have a heart traps. They're not too expensive if you want to buy one, trap a squirrel, and then return it maybe. I don't know. Yeah, so if notifications aren't working, sometimes uninstall and reinstall will help. Sometimes not. This kind of book challenges your happiness threshold. It challenges your ability to hold creative energy consciously. Don't be surprised if you're reading this book and you're studying this book and energy starts to move that you feel really uncomfortable. So what happens for me is when I feel really uncomfortable, like there's too much happy going on, I used to turn to food to soften that feeling, to actually smother. We'll just say smother that feeling because it was so really, really uncomfortable for me. Some people drink or smoke or get porn addicted or whatever. Those are all the things we do to shut down our happiness, creativity, energy, life energy, really. But what I do now is when I get something or something happens and I feel that surge of energy that I'm not entirely comfortable with yet, I just go outside and put my bare feet on the ground and let that energy kind of bounce around and just go. And that's how you stretch your tolerance for it. So as good things continue to happen, I get more and more comfortable, but I still have to go outside a lot. And it can be anywhere. Just put your feet in the dirt and allow your body and the dirt and the earth to connect. It sounds like fruity and kind of woo-woo, but it actually does work. We are electrical creatures, and dirt and earth does have an electrical current. It works really well. It works so much better than a donut. So what I'm saying is, when you're working with this stuff, your energy level is going to go up, and you need to find lots of places to put your creativity. Yeah. And then you also need to find lots of places to ground yourself in your body so that your body can learn that sudden increase in energy is safe. Because your body's like, whoa, 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 what is going on? Where is all this energy coming from? What is happening? Are we getting sick? Is there something wrong? It doesn't know. So it's like anxiety goes through the roof. So grounding in the earth, taking a bath, things that increase your awareness of your body. I used to teach dialectical behavioral therapy. It's a treatment for borderline personality disorder. Also works good with teenagers. But part of it is using sensory activities to stay anchored in your body, because people who have that have a tendency to be like disconnected from their physical self. They're exactly the same. Yeah, that program works really well for teenage girls especially. So you can smell an oil, you can cook some food, you can put your feet in the dirt, you can take a bath or a shower, you can get some nice lotion and give yourself like a hand or foot massage. Yeah, so it's distress tolerance, which the ability to tolerate distress in the body. What we're doing is working with the distress the body feels even when it's happy. When you're happier than normal, it feels like a stressor to the body. So you work with things to increase your distress tolerance or your happy tolerance. That's where that happiness tolerance things come from. For me, is from dialectical behavioral therapy. So we used to tell people to get a stuffed animal. If you didn't have a real animal, get a stuffed animal, touch textures, run your hands through a bag of cornmeal. Yeah. Run your hands through rocks. Anything you can do to anchor in the body and teach yourself that increased energy is safe, and it's actually how you're supposed to feel. Increasing our happiness threshold. You have a certain threshold of happiness that you'll tolerate, and you want to increase that and stretch that so you can allow more good stuff in. And you'll be challenged to do that when you're working with this kind of material. Yes, it's unfamiliar and very uncomfortable. And you can lean into it. Push it up. There's some salt and pepper for you. Salt and pepper. Okay, Salt or Peppa turned 50 yesterday, and I was like, damn it, we're the same age. Why wasn't I a rap star? Okay, let's talk about success. Because with success comes pushing against your happiness threshold. I know, she turned 50. I can't remember. I think it's Peppa. I can't remember her name. How terrible. I can only remember their rap names. I didn't have the courage at that time at all. Okay, all those years, success is uncomfortable. So as you start reaching success, you're going to need these skills. All those years when I was diligently laboring away at both my day jobs and my writing, I knew there was never any promise that any of this would work out. I always knew that I might not get what I wished for, that I might never become a published writer. Not everybody makes it to a place of comfortable success in the arts. Most people don't. And while I've always believed in magical thinking, I wasn't a child either. I knew that wishing would not make it so. Talent might not make it so either. Dedication might not make it so. Even amazing professional contacts, hi Aaron, which I didn't have in any case, might not make it so. Creative living is stranger than other more worldly pursuits. The usual rules do not apply. In normal life, if you're good at something and you work hard at it, you will likely succeed. In creative endeavors, maybe not. Or maybe you'll succeed for a time and then never succeed again. You might be offered rewards on a silver platter, even as a rug is simultaneously being pulled out from under you. You might be adored for a while, then go out of fashion. Other, dumber people might take your place as critical darlings. That's gotta sting. The patron goddess of creative success can sometimes seem like a rich, capricious old lady who lives in a giant mansion on a distant hill and makes really weird decisions about who gets her fortune. Hi, Cynthia. She sometimes rewards charlatans and ignores the gifted. She cuts people out of her will who loyally served her their entire lives and then gives her Mercedes to that cute boy who cut her lawn once. She changes her mind about things. We try to divine her motives, but they remain occult. She's never obliged to explain herself to us. In short, the goddess of creative success may show up for you or she may not. Probably best if you don't count on her or attach your definition of personal happiness to her whims. We talk about that a lot, right? We have to be in give mode, in service mode to others, and our success is a byproduct, a happy accident, if you will. Like the more we're in service to our true authenticity, the more we're in service to our creative flow, whatever that is, we're in give mode. We're giving to ourselves and we're giving to the world by allowing those expressions to come through. The second we flip over into, I'd like to get something, not that you don't hear me saying that you don't deserve financial compensation for your work. That's not what I mean at all. It's the energy. It's the energy of being in service. You still need to charge for your work, but you'll charge a more fair amount if you're coming from a service mind and you're letting the divine, and you're clear and you're getting the impulse for what is fair compensation. Exactly. It finds you. You don't go looking for that in particular. It's an accident. It's a byproduct. I can't think of a good analogy, but when you make, you just go for whatever your path is. When you make certain things, there are byproducts created from them. I can't think of a catchy analogy. All I can think of is beer. Like, isn't there a byproduct from beer? Brewer's rice or something that gets put in pet food? That's terrible. I can't think of a good one because I'm still half asleep. But you know what I mean. You make the product, you put it out in the world, you set your price, you stretch you stretch outside your comfort zone in, first of all, being able to ask for your price and set a price that's fair, not a price that's just barely covering your materials. And then you let the rest come on its own. Yes, it will take on its own life if you will allow it the room to do so. Okay, so reconsider your definition of success. For my own part, I decided early on to focus on my devotion to the work above all. That would be how I would measure my worth. So she measured her worth and her success by the level of her devotion to her craft. So the devotion was the yardstick, not the results, not the external world results. I knew that conventional success would depend on 3 factors: talent, luck, and discipline. Yeah, you're not in it for the income, you're in it for the outcome. Be of service to others. Measure success by devotion. I love that too. I really do. Like, I love to think that my success in any given day is related to, did I spend time in the morning doing what I said I would do for myself? So I guess it's commitment to this daily practice. Did I get my daily practice done? Because that's what I promised myself I would do. And did I do it? No, then I'm not successful that day. If I did it, then yeah, I consider that a success, even if I get nothing else done. let's see. Conventional success depends on 3 factors: talent, luck, and discipline, and I knew that 2 of those 3 things would never be under my control. Genetic randomness had already determined how much talent I'd been allotted, and destiny's randomness would account for my share of luck. The only piece I had any control over was my discipline. Recognizing that, it seemed like the best plan would be to work my ass off. That was the only card I had to play, so I played it hard. Mind you, hard work guarantees nothing. Nothing in the realms of creativity. Nothing guarantees anything in the realms of creativity. But I cannot help but think that devotional discipline is the best approach. Do what you love to do, and do it with both seriousness and lightness. At least then you will know that you have tried, and that whatever the outcome, you have traveled a noble path. When you do your work that way, you're in integrity with your purpose for being here. You're in integrity with your full expression of the gifts that you've been given. Read it again. Okay. Mind you, hard work guarantees nothing in realms of creativity. Nothing guarantees anything in the realms of creativity, but I cannot help but think that devotional discipline is the best approach. Do what you love to do, and do it with both seriousness and lightness. At least then you will know that you have tried, and that whatever the outcome, you've traveled a noble path. And then I was speaking of being in line with your integrity. Here, I'll put this here and see if you might be able to screenshot this page. I don't know, it looks a little blurry. Remember, Stephen Pressfield in War of Art says, and actually that comes from a more ancient text, that it's our responsibility to produce the work. That God or the divine or creative flow or whatever gives us the impulse to create. We get the impulse from who knows. You're welcome. And then it's our job to act on it and put that expression into the world. And then that's the end of our responsibility. What happens after that is not our business. It's just not. And trying to take control of that and tweak it and mess with it generally destroys it. So to be in integrity with, our purpose is to let the expression have a place in the world, and that's it. I want to say that concept that he writes about in The War of Art, which is an excellent book that I think should be required reading in schools. I think it comes from the Bhagavad Gita or the Upanishads. I can't remember. Yes, me too. We don't own them. I don't own my drawings. I do them for someone else. Or I do them to sit. I mean, right now I have a lot just sitting in the house. I create the art, and what happens to it after that, I can't control it. Some of them sell. Some of them sit in frames here on the floor in my house. Maybe they'll have an owner someday. Maybe they won't. The point is, I followed the impulse to create, and I created. Hi, Juliana. I saw a little bit of your scope last night. Or this morning, but I think it was from last night. If I feel, oh, cool. Yeah. If I feel an impulse to strike up a conversation with someone that I feel like comes from somewhere else, what am I trying to say? You're standing in line sometimes with somebody and you feel an impulse to strike up a conversation with them. Sometimes that person really needs a conversation with another human being, but you don't know that. All you know is you have an impulse to speak to that person. If you don't act on it, an opportunity has been wasted. If you feel an impulse to speak, you need to turn around and speak, even if it's uncomfortable. That person either needs something from you, or more often, you need something from that person. It's a connection for you. It's an opportunity to offer your product. It's an opportunity to make a connection to a connection who then helps who then helps increase your product, or both. It's an opportunity to prove to someone who may be suicidal that people still care. You don't know. All you know is that creative impulse, right? I consider that a creative impulse. I consider that a creative energy to open the door for someone or to strike up a conversation with someone that you don't know. And I don't know where you feel it in your body. I generally feel it in my solar plexus and my heart. Sometimes my throat, where I'm just like, I need to do this. Sometimes it's uncomfortable, but I do it anyway. And it always pays off. It pays off in the sense that I allowed that activity to happen. A man in a wheelchair wanted a conversation. You felt the impulse to offer that. Yeah. Because what do we say all the time? We're the answer to each other's prayers. Yeah, we don't know why we're compelled to talk to someone. But to honor that compulsion, to honor that impulse, is to live an authentic life in integrity. Oh, God. Yeah, sometimes it's really scary, especially if you're not used to talking to striking up conversation with people you don't know. That's really difficult. But that's it. Like that's why creativity isn't just making a drawing or a pot or a tangible product. Creativity is honoring those creative impulses that come to you from, in my opinion, from the divine source, from the source of all that is. And it's your job to act on them. It's making a lamb cake, which was very cute. Yeah, I'm an introvert too, and I had to teach myself a lot when I started working in child protection about how I had to start by practicing making eye contact with people. Like, I really had trouble with eye contact. So I had to start with grocery store cashiers making eye contact and having conversations with them, and it was horribly uncomfortable. It was terrible. I hated it. I used to break out in a sweat to ask the cashier, how are you doing today? Cashier lady, what's up? It was not easy. But now, I'll talk to any old person. I'm sure they were like, fine. Special person buying their groceries? Do you need help out? It was really hard. It was really hard. I used to sometimes leave the grocery store just with my face just on fire because I felt so uncomfortable. Where's your chaperone, honey? Did you lose your group? Is your group leader somewhere, honey? Special person lost on aisle 5. Yeah, some cashiers are scared. There's some mean ones at Walmart. There's some mean old cashiers at the airport. Jeez. But you know what I'm saying, right? You've got to honor those impulses if you want to live a fully authentic life. You don't have to. You can keep stuffing them down and missing opportunities. The post office is the worst. The post office here in our little tiny town is awful in the opposite way. They want to chit-chat, and I know, right? I do too. They want to chit-chat with you and talk to you because they don't see as many people, I think. So they want to, like, how long have you been here? And have you seen any bears lately? And what's the weather like outside? And, did you see that chicken's on sale at the Ingalls market? And you're just like, oh, shut up, lady. I just want a stamp. Make you cry. Oh. Right, yeah, small town post offices are opposite problem. They want to talk to you way too much. Yeah, if I worked at the post office, I would be cranky because I would probably hate that job. So, at least if you follow the creative impulse, you'll know you tried. You'll know that you traveled a noble path. You acted with integrity. You fulfilled your responsibility, your human responsibility to be the physical presence of the divine in this world. You honored your what I see as a divine responsibility to answer someone else's prayer. God can't move in the world and touch other people. We have to, it has to go through bodies to answer prayers. I'm okay with being a conduit for that activity. So I really try to honor those impulses whenever I get them, for whatever they are. Sometimes they're just for me, but sometimes they're mostly for other people. I have a friend, an aspiring musician, whose sister said to her one day, "What happens if you never get anything out of this?" Yeah, you can be creative in conversation too. Yeah, sometimes they're for you. The impulse to pick up the phone and call someone you haven't called in a while, that's a creative impulse. That's acting on the forces in the universe that want to answer someone else's prayer through your body. It's you. It's all you. We have to separate and talk these things out because we have a little pea brain that struggles with comprehending the vastness of what we all are. But it's all you. It's the part of you that knows that your buddy is suffering and gives you a tap on the shoulder and says, "Hey, you need to call so-and-so. They're suffering." And you have the opportunity to pick up the phone. You don't know why. Oh, I'll pray for you. You have to learn to say, "Well, bless your heart. Well, bless your heart, honey." And in your head, you're like, "Bitch." It's so naughty. It's such a naughty way to be. And I actually mean it when I say bless your heart. And some people think I'm being sarcastic, but I'm like, no, I really mean it. Bless your heart. God, you're suffering. Blessings on you. Bless your heart. A lot of people mean that sarcastically here. Like, don't say that. Don't say bless your heart when you don't mean it. You hate that. Yeah. I hate when people at restaurants call me honey and sweetie pie and pigeon pie and petal and stuff. Don't call me that. I don't know you. I'm not your sweetie. Okay, so this musician's sister says, "What happens if you never get anything out of this?" You love it. You're so sweet. "What happens if you pursue this passion forever, but success never comes? How will you feel then, having wasted your entire life for nothing?" My friend with equal reason... Right. My friend with equal reason replied, "If you can't see what I'm already getting out of this, then I'll never be able to explain it to you. When it's for love, you will always do it anyhow. When your creative expression is an expression of love with a capital L, you'll do it and you won't ever care if you get paid for it. I never got paid for playing guitar out in public at bars or whatever. I might have gotten a free drink and I didn't drink, so that was wasted. But I never got money for it, but that didn't stop me from doing it. That wasn't the point. The point was to challenge myself and to grow and to develop. And that's what I got out of it. But if I'd have been doing it for money, I'd be starving to death if I wasn't that great at it. I wasn't going to make a living doing that. Plus, I didn't like staying up that late. Yeah, do it because you love doing it. And then if somebody else latches onto it, well, great. Otherwise, leave a legacy of things that someone will find and be like, wow, this is cool stuff. It'd be like Van Gogh, who couldn't stop himself from creating. And then we all get the benefit of what he created. I mean, imagine if he had stopped because his work wasn't selling. He was sending all his stuff to his brother Theo. Right, exactly. Do it for the love. Do it for the experience, because we don't want to pay you, intern. We're not even going to learn your name. We're just going to call you intern. Okay, so... do it for the love, people. I'm going to read one more and then we'll stop there. This next chapter is called Career versus Vocation. It is for these reasons, the difficulty, the unpredictability, that I have always discouraged people from approaching creativity as a career move. And I always will, because with rare exceptions, creative fields can make for crap careers. They make for crap careers, that is, if you define career as something that provides for you financially in a fair and foreseeable manner, which is a pretty reasonable definition of a career. Even if things work out for you in the arts, parts of your career will likely always remain crap. You might not like your publisher or your gallerist or your drummer or your cinematographer. You might hate your tour schedule or your aggressive fans or your critics. You might resent answering the same questions over and over and over again in interviews. You might be constantly annoyed at yourself for always falling short of your own aspirations. Trust me, if you want to complain, you'll always find plenty to complain about, even when fortune appears to be shining her favor upon you. But creative living can be an amazing vocation if you have the love, courage, and persistence to see it that way. Yeah. I suggest that this may be the only sanity-preserving way to approach creativity, because nobody ever told us it would be easy. And uncertainty is what we sign up for when we say we want to live creative lives. If you say, I want to live an authentic life, I want to express what's in my heart to express, you are signing up for the uncertainty trip. It's always the only thing certain is that creative impulse. You're going to get it. You're going to feel it, and you're going to need to act on that. That is a certainty. But what happens to it after that is a complete unknown. So everyone is panicking these days, for instance, about how much the internet and digital technology are changing the creative world. Everyone is fretting over whether there will still be jobs and money available for artists going forward into this volatile new age. But allow me to point out that long before the internet and digital technology ever existed, the arts were still a crap career. They've always been a crap career. It's not like back in 1989 anybody was saying to me, you know where the money is, kid? Writing. They weren't saying that to anyone in 1889 either, or 1789, and they won't be saying it in 2089. But people will still try to be writers because they love the vocation. People will keep being painters, sculptors, musicians, actors, poets, directors, quilters, knitters, potters, glass blowers, I'm going to say oil sellers, oil peddlers, clog dancers, Celtic harpists. Against all sound advice, people will stubbornly keep trying to make pleasing things for no particularly good reason, as we always have done. Is it sometimes a difficult path? Sure. Does it make for an interesting life? The most. And will the inevitable difficulties and obstacles associated with creativity make you suffer? That part, cross my heart, is entirely up to you. You don't have to suffer with your creativity. That's a choice. You suffer when you try to monetize it and it's not ready to be monetized, or you're monetizing it in the wrong way for you and your path. You suffer when you make it a big deal when it's not a big deal. You suffer when you feel a creative impulse and you go eat a cheeseburger instead of creating, or you go drink a fifth of gin or whatever you do to stop your creative process. That is when you suffer. You suffer when you decide before you even start that you're going to fail, so you don't ever start. That is a true suffering. And that is a tragedy, because that means none of the rest of us get to benefit from your whatever was trying to be born through you. That means the person who needed your end result doesn't get it, has to get it from somewhere else, which I do believe they will get it, but what you would have produced for them would have been the ideal. And then they have to wait for that creative idea to go through someone else. That means you don't get to complete that cycle of impulse creation. When you interrupt that cycle, you cause disease in your body, I think, because you've dammed a river of creative energy, and then now it's not going anywhere. So it's going to go somewhere. It's going to come out as an addiction. It's going to come out as anger. it's going to come out as weird behavior that's out of character for you. It's going to go somewhere. So just go ahead and get comfortable with the uncomfortable and get comfortable with uncertainty that nothing is predictable, and just go ahead and act on whatever you feel like acting on, whether that's dusting your tchotchkes or painting a masterpiece or painting your house or figuring out how to get rid of carpenter bees that are eating your house without pesticiding the whole world. Damn carpenter bees. So anyway, I love this book. Or doing a scope. Or letting the world see you in the process of creation, which is a challenge in and of itself. To be able to let other people witness your creative process is a freeing activity, but nerve-wracking in the beginning. So, well, that's all I got. I love this book. I really do. I'm so glad she wrote it. Rearranging furniture. It is scary to scope. Mark Shaw says give yourself 50 before it gets comfortable. Angela, my husband's like that. I can't rearrange furniture to save my life. Essential oils work on carpenter bees. The one that I found that work is a mix of peppermint and purification by Young Living. Betty. 50? What's 50? Did I miss something? Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. If you don't have it, get it. You're so welcome. Oh, 50 Scopes. Yeah, give Mark Shaw from Tag Tribes. He's an interesting guy. He says, give yourself 50 before you feel comfortable. And that's about right. Or it was for me. About 45, 50, I started feeling more comfortable. And now we're at almost 300. So now it's super comfortable. They spread out since June. Yeah, if there's a gap in between, you have to start all over with your anxiety. Yeah, absolutely. Acting on those impulses is going to push your bliss, your happiness level higher. It's going to be uncomfortable. You're going to breathe through it. You're going to still create, and you're going to keep going. And you're going to stretch, and you're going to grow and stretch and grow. Yeah, it's an interesting process, Periscope. Hi! Love for life. Welcome. Does anyone have questions? And as you're stretching those boundaries, there are, yoga is a great way to ease through those transitions. Hi, Linda. Hey, Linda, I'm glad you're here. I notice you only show up when we read Big Magic. I'm just kidding. You're totally welcome. I'm here every day. Every day. 7 days a week. And on twin days, things are not as flowy as they are on non-twin days. But hold on just a second. I got a cat breaking into something. Tonka! Tonka! I had to chase a cat away from a door he was trying to bust into. Oils help move through those transitions. Massage helps. Yoga helps. Being outside with your bare feet on the ground helps. Standing in running water like a creek or river, lake, something like that, natural water source helps a ton. But just taking a bath helps. Which part? Getting up to chase a cat, or did I miss something? Okay, go feed your kittens. Yay for kittens. I gotta go. We have to go to town and get stuff for the generator cords and whatnot. Country living stuff. Yoga, nature, plants. Your diet helps. Essential oils help. Meditation helps. Prayer helps. Meditation, in my mind, prayer is talking to God, and meditation is listening for the answers. So it's good to have a balance of both. Bye, Nina. Love you guys. Have a wonderful Tuesday. And I'll talk to some of you on the phone tonight. Bye. Big Magic Cliff Notes. Good enough. Good enough, Linda. That's good enough. Bye. You're welcome.